By Unpaid Gamers. Yes, Unpaid guys, leisure plays and podcasts and various videos. And Ban Loss, who doesn't really lose that much, the man, the myth, the Apex legend, as he streams to you his ongoing multiplayer dominance. And tonight, Monday, it is Monday, GTA 5, and this is the first video for Open World Week, as I announced yesterday. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Open World, and I am playing some GTA so you all can see this is the start of the Open World. Now, I chose this at the beginning because sufficient to broadcast gameplay. So, okay, if you're listening in, it says the internet quality is not sufficient enough to broadcast gameplay. I don't know what's going on there. So, if you can't see the gameplay, I apologize for that. Because if I have to stop this video, what happens is I gotta get with John. He'll have to delete this and have to start this whole thing all over again. So maybe it'll pop back on. I don't know. So you'll have to forgive me because I'm probably going to have to stop this video. Let me see what's going on here. So I think it's actually working. It's working now. So that, I guess that's going to be end gameplay. Okay, so we're good now. Sorry for the delay. Open World Week on the Gaming Roundtable. And again, brought to you by Unpaid Gamers on YouTube.com. And I'm playing some GTA. And I started off this because GTA 5 is reaching like year 6 or 7 at this point. It's been going strong for a long time. And is still considered the most intellectual property as far as it goes with it. Made more money than anything pretty much ever has at this point. It's a pretty ongoing, and I'm doing the online as currently. But I'm doing a solo session because I don't want to start getting like just shit on because people are trolls in this game, and that's kind of what they do. Generally speaking, here's the whole thing. So Open World Week begins with GTA because GTA has always been the 500-pound or 800-pound gorilla in the room. It has been the game to beat, and a lot of people have looked at this game as being like pretty much one of the best of the best of the best of the best. GTA has been out for a long time, starting out in the 3D area with GTA 3, although it does predate that game. As a matter of fact, one of the earliest adopters of an open world on a console was on the N64 with a game called Body Harvest, made by DMA Publishing, who would go on thanks to the success of that game, and it was a sandbox open world game. They didn't really call it that then. They just said, hey, it's a large map to explore. You could jump in and out of vehicles. You talk to NPCs and stuff. So to be perfectly honest with you, DMA Publishing went on to become Rockstar North and actually stated that it wasn't for the N64 and Nintendo letting them embrace this crazy notion of a 3D open world where you fought aliens and alien insects and travel through time, and there was all these, especially the last board, it was a big city. They would not had tried to push to do GTA. So you could thank Nintendo people for your GTA. That they used to be called DMA Publishing, became Rockstar North. So that's a little bit of back history on where Rockstar kind of came from. When it comes to the open world, again, GTA has always kind of set that standard. Now, I have always said that I love the series. I've owned all of them. GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. I had the 2 overhead original Grand Theft Autos and then the British thing on the PS1. I've always been a fan of the series. But I've also stated that in many ways, though, GTA's general gunplay and even melee combat and stuff, while it is solid and still fairly holds up, other games do it a lot better. Better melee combat you're going to find in Sleeping Dogs by any measure of the stretch. It's very visceral and all that other good stuff. Its main competitor for a long time was only Saints Row, but there's been so many. And open world games used to be special. There wasn't that many, that were available on consoles like especially when PS2 and all that. There was RPGs, obviously, embraced that with games like Morrowind, Oblivion, and so on and so forth. But that's kind of a gimme. But games like this, modernized type of games, they just weren't available. So when you did play these games, they were kind of few and far between. But now you've got this whole concept where almost everybody is doing open world now, so it kind of makes it a little less special. You know what I mean? And is GTA still, 5? And there's no doubting like its success, but does GTA? It's still fun to play. It's the cars still controlled great. Graphically, it's still very crisp. It's very nice. I've always praised the water effects and the lighting and different things along that lines. But, and when I say but, it's because it does allow. It's one of the games with some of the best pure chaos stuff you can do, with funny ragdoll animations and all that ilk. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, is other games have, as they've came out, and it's like I said, it's been like 7 years. Other games that have come out have really upped the ante, especially playing a game like Watch Dogs Legion, or and even games that came out during that time, Sleeping Dogs, something about dogs games, I guess, Watch Dogs, Sleeping Dogs, and Just Cause, other open world games that try to push that envelope. Now, one of the things that I have judged and gauged when it comes to neck meat, right there, a little nod to JP there. You have, these other games that's come out, and a lot of games get compared to Grand Theft Auto, rightfully so, but they don't necessarily deserve it, because many of the newer games that's come out here that have that anyone normally would say it's a GTA clone really have done the open world better. There's much more interactivity that you can have with the NPCs. Even Red Dead Redemption 2 has the ability to go up and insult someone. You can say, "No, I was just fooling with you," and its melee combat is superb, and better than actual GTA 5's, and all that stuff. And so the whole point I'm trying to make is that while this was a marvel of technology and still is a great game to play, other games have really upped that ante. So GTA 6 really is going to have to do something very special, because open world game, it's just so saturated. And I don't think it's fair that so many reviewers, so many YouTubers, when a new open world game that's similar to this might come out, they say all the time, "Oh, it's just trying to be GTA." Here's the thing about that. That's just a poor way of doing it or saying it, because you shouldn't say things like that. Because anybody would know that, when you play a game like this, or Saints Row, Red Faction Guerrilla, when you play other open world games that are similar, where you can jump in and out of vehicles, they all have things about them that kind of stand them apart. GTA 5 has this great, the cars control well. There's a lot of weapons, millions of dollars worth of clothes. There's a casino and all that stuff. But I digress. You can't really do much with the NPCs outside of the store owners, which you can kind of basically, generally they're just there to say, "Oh, hey, welcome to my store," and you go up and you buy something. The only thing you really do is just kill people in the game, and that's about it. There's no real level of interaction. When I play like Watch Dogs, Legion in particular, or Watch Dogs 2, or even the first one in some regards, you actually talk to people. You actually interact with them. They feel more alive. Legion's procedural NPCs are great, because they actually have, as I pointed out in the video, actual scripts, and they follow a set pattern from the time they get up to the time they go to bed, and you can see that pattern follow them around, and it's really, really amazing to see that. And to me, that's what sets it apart. Like, GTA does not hold a candle to Watch Dogs Legion's NPCs, not in its breadth or scope. You see, if you stand around long enough, you will see some of the same NPCs being reused, but you don't really stand around too much in this game. It does still have better controls as far as its car is concerned than Watch Dogs Legion, but Legion, you get used to it, and the cars feel fine. I think GTA's cars, because it was so heavily criticized, GTA 4, because the cars were just complete shit in that. It was so god awful to actually bother to actually drive around in that game. So they really focused in making sure the driving was really good in this game. I don't really have any weapons, because apparently when I loaded up my game the other day to make sure everything was there, my NPCs, everything was gone. Like, I don't know what happened to them. Like, they're just not on the server. I don't know what's going on. So I had to make a new character, but that's fine. You know, that's neither here nor there. But my whole point on this open world week is to kind of point out what is good and what is bad, and what is happened to open world, and why so many developers have gone this route, and the games are so common now. Even, and I've said this in other videos, even my beloved Dynasty Warriors 9 went open world. And, you know, GTA just has, you know, this certain feel, a certain vibe about it. So I think people, they really gravitate towards the game. I understand why they do. It is an excellent, it's an excellent game. And it is one of those games that when you play, I'm gonna get that extended clip there. It just makes it feels good, and it's just one of those games where it offers a lot of content, a lot of stuff like that. I think though, my buddy Johnny there, and we have discussed this at length too. The thing is that, you know, in San Andreas, you could, like, skateboard. You could lift weights and become a muscle guy. You could eat too much and become fat. There was so much you could do in the game as far as what your character could do. You could go down from CJ's house to the bar and play pool and play darts, and none of that's in the game. Like, this game does not feature that. And I don't know why a really interesting feature like that was removed from this game, but that's one of the problems. The casino and stock market was in San Andreas, but it took them, 6.5 years to add it back in this game, even though the building was there. It's really weird, and Rockstar pretty much, you know, it's not that the game was released like in a bare bones situation, but it was I don't know, I find it fascinating, you know, and whatnot. And again, the cover system is fine and everything along that lines, but to be honest with you, again, GTA feels good, the gunplay is good, but everything about the game is just good, you know, but it's not, in my opinion, great. Playing with randoms online, matchmaking has been atrocious, still is. Most people just play the game and just go around trying to kill each other. Nobody really wants to do anything, you know, the right way or play stuff. I'm not knocking that as far as players play, but it's like some people don't get the concept of that. I personally feel like that GTA 5 still holds up well, but it doesn't hold a candle to the interactive environment and the interactive NPCs of the Watch Dogs series, in particular Legion. It doesn't hold a candle to some of the previous entries, which is weird. Like, I remember GTA 4, you could go on dates and go bowling and things like that, and have a steady girlfriend. None of that's really in this game, and that's a shame. It does have an amazing story, but believe it or not, there's like 50% of the people who have played this game have never even played the story. They just immediately go online. So they miss out on probably the best part of the game, is the characters. Playing as Michael, playing as Trevor, and Franklin's okay. He's a little boring. But other than that, again, the NPCs, look, he stopped and whatnot, but you can't do much. You can bump into them. You can't really, like, if you flip them off, they're not going to attack you. They're just going to stand there. That guy ran for pretty much no reason for me bumping into him. NPCs actually disappear and then reappear in the very big draw distance that it has. It's a good game, but it's, in my opinion, now dated, comparatively speaking. I think the game was a little dated even back when Sleeping Dogs came out, because Sleeping Dogs had again a high level of NPC interactivity. I've always measured open world games based on that, personally. One of the things that I talk about on 360 was Godfather 2. Godfather 2 was an open world game with a very high level of interactiveness that you could have with the NPCs. And I love that because it makes the game feel more alive. Simply being able to mow down NPCs or run into them like these two guys, I almost got them. That's all you can do. It's just boring in that particular sense. The mass chaos is always fun, and you can sit around just farting around on GTA for hours and not really accomplish anything. Or, you can rob a store, or you can play the same exact tennis game or the same golf game over and over again. It's just a good game, but it's definitely dated by open world standards, in my personal opinion. There's other games that are just doing it better right now. And that's not a knock on the game, because it has been one of the games that has brought me a lot of joy. I love playing it. But the open world genre is so saturated. I find it interesting that this game is still held in the regard it is, where other games come out and they still compare it. They still say, well, it's just trying to be GTA or it's trying to be this. Yes, it controls good. It feels good. The gunplay's fine. But it definitely doesn't hold a candle. Watch Dogs' gunplay is very solid and feels a little bit more cohesive. And again, it's not because I'm the biggest Watch Dogs fanboy. I love the series, but I would say Sleeping Dogs is in there. Just Cause 4, while its interactive with the NPCs is, like this game, virtually non-existent, but that game is really centered around overthrowing governments and blowing up shit and causing chaos and basically fighting guerrilla warfare, and of course its highlight of its traversal system, which we'll get into the Just Cause 4 when I do a video on that game and what sets it apart. What makes GTA set apart from everything else, I think, is its setting. It's got a lot of music on the radio to listen to. It's got a general interesting setting that's going on, and Los Santos is basically like LA essentially. So it just has all those hallmarks of like modernized city, open world. I tell you what's interesting is I hope that there is more buildings you can go in and out of in the next GTA, because there's so much potential when you look at buildings. I get why you don't have Chihuahua hot dogs as a building you can walk into, but you should be able to and buy a hot dog and eat, and if you think about open worlds, even though the map is generally much smaller, it's an incredibly dense game as the Yakuza series, which I have sang its praise more times than I can count, because even though the map is small and there isn't any vehicles per se, it still has this dense. It's just a very dense game with verticality, with lots of stores, lots of NPCs you interact with, people to talk to. It's excellent. And I wish more people would play that game. And it's hard for me to not, I can play this game and again still have fun, but it's hard for me to go, well, I'm going to play this instead. I'd much rather play something that gives me more interactiveness and all that other stuff than I had before. Another thing that I will say is con of this game is, and I've talked about this, like, I don't understand why, if you have 1 star, See, I have 1 star, and the instinct of the cops is we just start shooting you instantly. And I wish at 1 star they wouldn't shoot. Like they would simply like try to arrest you, chase you down, hit you with a taser, something. But you get 1 star and they're immediately shooting you. And it's like, come on. I barely bumped into some guy on a bike or whatever. And I wish it wasn't like that. But it is that way. And I don't understand why they felt the need to, oh, you just did some misdemeanor, gun you down, kill you. And I'm like, again, I don't understand that at all. I wish it wasn't like that at all. You know, that's my personal opinion. It's something that I think a lot of people would like to see. Because one of the things in Red Dead, again, same company in Red Dead Redemption, the first one, you put your hands up and give up. You can actually give up. You can do the same thing in Red Dead 2. They don't immediately shoot you on sight. They try to arrest you. But GTA, you know, they could have probably put that as an update in this game if they really wanted to. They just didn't. And so I wish it was a little bit more comprehensive when it comes to that kind of thing. But it's not, and it is what it is. Again, the game did come out. A lot of people don't. It came out before the PS4 and the Xbox One there.
Excuse me for walking.
Well, she said, "Excuse me for walking. Excuse me for punching your lights out." Where are you running off to? Oh, there you go. Take some of that. Let's get that beat down. See, that kind of stuff is fun. But, you know, the melee combat, when you play Watch Dogs Legion, Sleeping Dogs, other games, even Saints Row 4 in some ways, in 3, it's just the combat is better. Everything in the game is decent. Let's cause some real chaos here. Start shooting cops. Yeah, here we go. Alright. Alright, gotta kill these guys. Like I said, the gunplay is good. Everything's just good, but it's still it's just not great anymore. There's other games have come out and done it better. I think open world games, I would love to see some improvements and different things in GTA 6. And they are definitely working on that. I know that much. Everyone knows that. They may be hush-hush about it, but they are. And if you are a fan of, of GTA, we can all look forward to that. And that'll probably be on the new systems, the PS5, Xbox Series X or whatever. And they will be, you know, hopefully there'll be a lot more things you can do, interactivity, better creative player. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the females in this game, when you make them, are just ugly as sin. It's very difficult to make a pretty girl in this game. And I think that sucks, because you can tell that they used the male body and just give them a more feminine look, but you can just tell by the faces, the shoulders, that they just took the male model and turned it female, and it's just, they need a separate model for that. And a lot of games have been doing that for a long time. I'm not saying Rockstar's lazy. Their audience is going to be typically composed of the male demographic between the ages of 18 and 35. And a lot of people don't like to play the females. I do, but that's just neither here nor there. And that's the thing. Like I said, it's not that I love this game for what you can and the ensuing chaos and the variety of things you can do. I love that. The roleplay aspects with the leveling system and getting your skills and all that, that's great too. And that's a nice touch. But again, I want to point out that everything is just good. That's it. And to say that doesn't take anything away from it, but the pros of this game is that it does everything good. It's not like it does a couple things bad and a couple things. It's just every single thing it does is good. There is not a whole lot about it that I would say turns me off to playing it or anything along that lines. Yes, they do make things pretty expensive to buy. So the shark card thing is a thing where like, hey, buy a shark card. But they don't really ram it down your throat, and they do give you ample opportunity. And there's still a lot of money and glitch exploits in the game. They haven't fixed those. They keep them in the game, you know. So it's not like you can't earn a ton of money, because you can. And that's basically what's going on there. So, again, to sum up, you know, this is starting tonight with this open world week where I'll be playing these open world games. It's really, again, GTA 5 might be the one to beat, or at least it's considered the top. But a lot of people should give other games of this genre that's similar to this a better shake than what they do, and they don't. And I wish they did, because even though this might be the 800-pound gorilla, it might be the, oh, you know, it's just, you know, right, GTA 5, you know, nothing's better than but there is, and it's out there, and you'll be seeing some of that in some other videos to come this week, as I show you that other games have really will blow you away when you see some of the stuff that you can and cannot do in it, and just to be like, oh wow, this is cool. And again, the cons of GTA, in my opinion, is while yes, graphically it's good, but it is dated comparatively to games like that. And apparently, as I'm talking, my character talks as I'm talking in the mic, which I didn't even realize that's a thing in the game. That's, again, very cool. And I did not realize that until now. Never noticed that before. So just keep in mind that during Open World Week, this is simply a discussion. If you felt butt hurt by me basically not singing the absolute praise of this game, I really don't give a shit. Because I don't. And if anybody's watched any of my videos, you know I value your opinion, but it doesn't sway from my opinion. I'm open to discussion, obviously. You can email me at jimprofit275@gmail.com. I will answer when I get those emails. That's JIMPROFIT275@gmail.com. jimprofit275@gmail.com. You can check us out, Unpaid Gamers. You can check out Posthuman Guys Leisure Plays and Podcasts. You can check out Band Loss, Kicking Ass on Apex Legends. And you can check out me, the Gaming Roundtable Guru himself, the People's Machine. And remember, this week is Open World Week, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to be playing open world games and discussing these games. And again, I just played a little bit of GTA to show you. It still has great... the cars control good. They just feel good. But, you know, all I can do is this to NPCs, basically. Is fight them or kill them. And you can't really talk to them or do much. It's just, GTA is a fun and it's a good game for doing chaotic things in. And robbing stores and doing whatever. And it's much, much more fun with friends, obviously. And that's what it's kind of centered around. So, but definitely, still cheap, and it's like $20 now, I think, new. And sometimes you see it on sale, but it's totally worth, again, the price of admission. Again, for just being an all-around good open world game, with lots of missions and lots of things to do and all that other good stuff. So I want you to keep that in mind. If you're playing that game, but you'll be seeing some other open world games this week that might change your mind, and you might look at this game a little bit differently. But GTA 5, still a solid game, still a good game, but it's not, I think it's aged, but not aged 100% well. It's still good, still has some flavor, and still worth your time. But other games since then, it's been 7 years practically. So yeah, some stuff's come out, might change your mind just a little bit to give those other ones a chance. And that is how I feel about it. And my character here, as you can see his mouth moving, I will say this: open world week, exciting week here, talking about these games, doing these videos. I'll be coming back to you with another episode of the Gaming Roundtable, probably tonight, as soon as I figure out, because I've got so much to talk about and so many games to show you. And we're going to leave you with that. And please, again, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Unpaid Gamers. Check us all out. We're all doing our thing. And as always, gamers, open world week and good gaming.